His buddies roared, the sound twisting like a knife in my gut, because it wasn't just a joke. It was the third time this week, each one landing heavier than the last, chipping away at the fragile peace ID built in this shared space. I forced a smile, the kind that doesn't reach your eyes, and slipped back to my room before the tears could betray me, wondering how much longer I could pretend his words didn't carve me open. Seattle in late fall felt like a city built for secrets, all gray skies and endless drizzle that mirrored the ache in my chest. The apartment was in Capitol Hill, that vibrant pocket of the Emerald City where rainbow flags fluttered from every other balcony and coffee shops buzzed with the kind of conversations that could change your life or break it. ID moved here 2 years ago from a dusty suburb in eastern Washington, chasing the dream of making it as a graphic novelist. My sketches filled the walls of my tiny bedroom, panels of shadowed figures navigating love in a world that sometimes felt too sharp-edged. But reality, it was messier. Rent was sky-high, gigs were sporadic, and my roommate, Jake Harlan, all broad shoulders and easy grins, was the wild card I never saw coming. Jake and I had answered the same Craigslist ad. 2-bedroom walk-up, utilities included, no pets, no drama. Head just transferred to the University of Washington for his master's in environmental engineering, fresh off a breakup with some girl from his undergrad days in Portland. Straight as an arrow, or so he claimed, with that classic Pacific Northwest look, tousled blonde hair, perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, and flannel shirts that hugged his frame like they were made for him. We clicked at first, or at least I thought we did. Late-night talks over takeout pho, him venting about lab reports while I doodled on napkins. Head teased me lightly about my artsy-fartsy sketches, and I'd laugh it off, because beneath the banter, there was a warmth, a spark of something unspoken. But then the mockery started. Subtle at first, a raised eyebrow when ID mentioned a date with a guy from the app, or a quip about how my boyfriend pillow needed a real man to cuddle. It escalated after his buddies started crashing our place more often, turning the living room into a frat house annex. That night, as the rain softened to a patter, I lay on my bed staring at the ceiling, the city lights filtering through the blinds in fractured patterns. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus, the barista I'd been seeing casually. Miss you. Coffee tomorrow? I typed back a yes, but my thumb hovered over send, doubt creeping in. What if Jake found out? What if his jokes turned into something uglier? The next morning, I woke to the smell of burnt toast and Jake's booming laugh from the kitchen. I padded out in my socks, rubbing sleep from my eyes, determined to act normal. He was at the stove, flipping eggs in a pan that had seen better days, his back to me, muscles shifting under a faded mariner's tee. Morning sunshine, he called without turning. Slept through the storm? Or were you up all night dreaming of glitter and show tunes? I swallowed the retort, grabbing a mug for coffee. Something like that. You? Lab till midnight. Then beers with the guys. He slid a plate my way, eggs piled haphazardly. Heard you stirring around 2 a.m. Bad dreams. My heart stuttered. Had he heard me crying? Just story ideas. Deadlines, you know? He nodded, but his eyes lingered a beat too long, something unreadable flickering there. We ate in companionable silence, the radio humming indie folk from KXP. Outside, the Space Needle loomed in the distance, a steel silhouette against the clouds, reminding me why I'd come here, to build something real, to be seen for who I was, not hidden. Work pulled me out by noon. A freelance gig designing posters for a queer film festival at the Egyptian Theater. The office was a converted warehouse in Fremont, alive with the clatter of keyboards and the scent of fresh ink. My boss, Lena, a sharp-witted dyke in her 40s with tattoos snaking up her arms, leaned over my shoulder. This one's got heart, Angel. Makes me feel the ache of it all. Thanks, I murmured, tweaking the shading on a lover's silhouette. But even as praise landed, Jake's words echoed, a low hum of insecurity. By evening, I met Marcus at a hole-in-the-wall in Ballard, all exposed brick and craft brews. He was everything Jake wasn't. Openly gay, unapologetic, with a laugh that lit up the dim corners. We talked for hours, about his poetry slams, my unfinished graphic novel, until his hand brushed mine across the table, and for a moment, the world felt possible. Back home, the apartment was dark, save for the glow from Jake's room. I tiptoed past, but his door creaked open. "Angel? That you?" "Yeah. Late night." He stepped out in boxers and a tank, hair rumpled. "Couldn't sleep. You smell like beer and happiness." His tone was light, but his gaze dropped to my neck, where Marcus' faint hickey hid under my collar. "Just a date." I shrugged, heat rising. "Good night, Jake." "Wait." He blocked the hall closer than necessary. "That guy again? The barista?" "Marcus." "Yeah." He crossed his arms, jaw tightening. "Be careful, man. Seattle's full of flakes. You deserve, I don't know, better." The words hung, laced with something raw. I searched his face, blue eyes stormy, like the Puget Sound on a bad day. "Thanks for the concern, but I'm good." He stepped aside, but as I passed, his hand grazed my arm. Accidental? Intentional? I shut my door, pulse racing, the touch lingering like rain on skin. Days blurred into a rhythm. Sketches by day, avoidance by night. Jake amped up the mocks, especially when his ex, Riley, started texting him again. Shed drop by unannounced, all long legs and Lululemon, turning our space into a minefield. One evening, as she perched on the couch giggling at his stories, Jake launched into it. "Remember that time in Portland when we crashed that drag show? Angel here would have fit right in. Probably been the star, twirling in heels." Riley snorted, but her eyes flicked to me apologetically. I was in the corner, sketching on my tablet, pretending not to hear. "Hilarious, Jake. Pass the popcorn." He didn't stop. "Nah, seriously. Angel's got that flair. Bet he's got a feather boa stashed somewhere." The room spun. I stood, tablet clattering. "I'm out." Grabbed my jacket and fled into the night, the door slamming like a punctuation mark. The streets of Capitol Hill swallowed me. Neon signs from dive bars, couples under umbrellas, the distant hum of the light rail. I ended up at California Anderson Park, collapsing on a bench slick with mist. Tears came hot and fast, mixing with the rain. Why did it hurt so much? Jake wasn't family, wasn't even a friend in the truest sense. But living with him, sharing breaths in that small space, had woven him into my days. And beneath the barbs there was care. Or was I fooling myself? My phone lit up. "Jake, where are you?" "Riley left. Sorry if I was a dick." I didn't reply. Instead, I walked to the water, Lake Union reflecting the city's fractured lights. Secrets weighed heavy tonight, mine mostly. The ones I'd buried deep since high school, when coming out meant fists from my dad's buddies in that conservative Tri-Cities town. I'd reinvented myself here, but pieces lingered. The anonymous blog where I poured out stories of queer survival, gaining a quiet following. Or the scholarship fund I'd started in secret for LGBTQ youth, funded by my side hustle illustrating children's books under a pen name. Who was I, really? Angel Rivera, struggling artist? Or the ghost writer behind Shadows in the Spectrum, the viral webcomic that had touched thousands? Hours later, I trudged home, soaked to the bone. Jake was on the couch, nursing a beer, TV flickering some cop show rerun. He looked up, face crumpling. "Shit, Angel. You're drenched." Fuck. I didn't mean it like that. I peeled off my jacket, water pooling at my feet. "Then how'd you mean it, Jake? Because it feels like you're carving me up for sport." He stood, hands raking through his hair. "I don't know. Jealous, maybe? Of how you just own it. Dates, art, all that passion. Me? Am stuck in this straight guy rut, chasing Riley who's half checked out. You're living, man. Fully." The admission hung, vulnerable in the lamplight. I wanted to rage, to push him away, but exhaustion won. "Just stop, please." He nodded, stepping closer, the air thick. "I will. Promise." His hand hovered near my shoulder, then dropped. "Get some dry clothes. They'll make tea." As I changed, the mirror showed a man who'd survived worse. But Jake's words echoed, "You're living, fully." Was I? Or was I still hiding, waiting for the next storm? That night, sleep evaded. From the wall, I heard him pacing, then silence. By dawn, the rain had cleared, leaving a tentative sun. We shared coffee wordlessly, the truce fragile as new ice. But in his glances, I saw the shift, a curiosity, a crack in the facade. Little did I know, it was the beginning of everything unraveling. The following weeks unfolded like a slow-burn indie film, all lingering shots of fog-shrouded streets and stolen glances over morning mugs. Jake kept his promise, mostly. The jabs tapered off, replaced by an awkward attentiveness that set my nerves on edge. Head leave notes on the fridge, grabbed extra oat milk, your fancy coffee ritual. Or head blast my favorite playlist while cooking, claiming it cleared his head for equations. It was disarming, this pivot from mockery to something almost tender, and I found myself watching him more. The way his laugh lines crinkled when he solved a puzzle, or how head absent-mindedly traced the tattoo on his forearm. A compass rose inked during a road trip gone wrong. Marcus noticed the change first, over dim sum in the International District one rainy Saturday. Steamed buns steamed between us, chopsticks clacking like Morse code. "Your roommate sounds like he's crushing," he said, eyes twinkling behind wire-rimmed glasses. Straight boy syndrome, denial phase. I laughed it off, popping a hargow. "He's just guilty. And Riley dumped him again last week." Rebound vibes. But Marcus leaned in, serious now. "Angel, you're glowing when you talk about him. Be careful. Hearts like yours, they bruise easy." His words stuck as I biked home through Pioneer Square, the historic bricks slick under tires. Marcus was right. I'd always been the feeler, the one who dove headfirst into emotions like they were tidal pools. Growing up, my mom, Rosa, a single nurse with a saint's patience, had called it my empath's curse. She'd hug me after schoolyard taunts, whispering, "Feel it all, Mijo, but don't let it sink you." Now, at 25, I was still learning. Jake was waiting when I got back, sprawled on the couch with a stack of textbooks, laptop balanced on his knees. "Hey, how was the poet?" "Good. He's performing at Numo's next month. Wants me to design the flyer." Kicked off my shoes, avoiding his eyes. "Cool. You going?" He closed the laptop, sitting up. The room smelled of his cedar cologne, mixing with the ever-present damp of Seattle air seeping through the cracks. "Maybe. You?" He shrugged, but his foot tapped restlessly. "Got a group project. But if you're free after, we could hit that new taco truck in Fremont. My treat. Peace offering, round 2. I hesitated, the invitation warm like sunlight breaking clouds. Sure. Why not? The tacos were perfection. Al pastor with pineapple, wrapped in foil that crinkled under our fingers as we sat on the tailgate of his beat-up Ford Ranger, parked by the ship canal. Ducks quacked in the distance, and the water lapped rhythmic against the bulkhead. Jake unwrapped his third, sauce dripping. "This beats Riley's cooking. Girl could burn water." I chuckled, wiping my mouth. "Why her, then, if she's such a disaster?" He stared at the canal, expression distant. "Comfort, I guess. We grew up together in that nowhere town outside Eugene. Prom kings and queens, the whole script. But lately, feels like acting." The vulnerability hit me sideways. "And you're not." He turned, blue eyes locking on mine. "What do you mean?" "You mock to fit in. With the guys, with her. But alone, you're different. Softer." He swallowed, foil crinkling in his fist. "Maybe. Dad was old school, logger, beer gut, the works. Said real men don't cry, don't question. After he died freshman year, I doubled down. Straight A student, straight arrow life." The pieces clicked. The flannel armor, the easy bro code. "I'm sorry. About your dad." "Yeah." He tossed the wrapper into a nearby bin, precise as a dart. "Your turn. What's the real Angel story? Beyond the sketches." I leaned back, the metal warm under me. Born in Kennewick, Tri-Cities kid, apples and regret. Mom worked doubles at the hospital. Dad bailed when I was 5, Couldn't handle the fairy boy vibes. As he put it, the words slipped out, lighter than intended. Came out at 16. Got jumped behind the bleachers. Moved here for community college, then this. I gestured vaguely at the skyline, the Ferris wheel spinning lazy at the waterfront. Jake's jaw clenched. Fuckers. You press charges. Nah. Small-town justice. ID have been the villain. I forced a grin. But Seattle's been good. Festivals, friends like Marcus. Space to breathe. He nodded slowly, then bumped my shoulder with his. You're tougher than you look, Rivera. The touch lingered, electric. We finished eating in silence, the city humming around us. Joggers in neon, a street musician strumming Dylan covers. Driving home, the radio played some alt-rock ballad, lyrics about unspoken wants. Jake sang along off-key, and I joined, our voices tangling in the cab. Back at the apartment, the mood shifted. He poured us whiskeys, his grandpa's old bottle, smooth and peaty. We sank into the couch, legs brushing, talking till the bottle halved. Stories flowed. His wild college prank that almost got him expelled. My secret midnight baking sessions that left the kitchen dusted in flour. Laughter came easy, barriers thinning like mist under sun. Then, quiet. His head lolled toward me, eyes heavy-lidded. Angel, thanks. For not hating me. Never did. My voice was soft, the whiskey warming my veins. He reached out, thumb brushing my knuckles. Time stretched, the room narrowing to that point of contact. My breath caught. Hope, fear, desire crashing like waves. But then his phone buzzed, Riley. Miss you. Come over? He pulled back, color draining. Shit.
Iga tego kropka.
Yeah. I stood too fast, heart pounding. Night, Jake. He paused at the door, hand on the knob. This us talking? Let's keep it going. ID like that. He left, and I exhaled, sliding down the wall. What was this? Friendship? Or the dangerous edge of more? Marcus texted, tacos sound fun.
Spill.
I replied vaguely, but sleep came fitful, dreams of compasses pointing true north, only to spin wild. The next day brought reality's bite. At the studio, Lena handed me a rejection email from a big publisher. My graphic novel pitch, Echoes of Ember, deemed too niche. I trudged home early, rain starting again, mood as gray as the sound. Jake was in the kitchen, chopping onions for stir-fry, tears streaming comically down his face. Rough day. He grinned through the sting. You have no idea. I dropped my bag, slumping at the table. He slid me a beer, then a plate of veggies. Talk. So I did, pouring out the frustration, the fear of never breaking through. He listened, really listened, knife pausing. That's bullshit. Your stuff's gold. Remember that panel you showed me? The one with the guy staring at the storm? Hit me here. He tapped his chest. Warmth spread, unbidden. Thanks. We ate cross-legged on the floor, TV on low, some Netflix doc about climate activists, fitting his major. Midway, his hand found my knee during a laugh, staying there. Neither moved it. The air thickened, charged. Then his phone again. Not Riley this time. A call from his mom in Eugene. I heard snippets. Emily's scan. Not great. Need you home. He hung up, face ashen.
Sis.
The cancer is back. Stage 3. Jake. I pulled him into a hug, his body rigid then melting, sobs muffled in my shoulder. We stayed like that, my hands stroking his back, the world outside fading. When he pulled away, eyes red, he whispered, "Don't tell anyone, please. Secret's safe." That night he slept on the couch, claimed insomnia, but I heard him through the wall, breaths ragged. I lay awake too, piecing together his fragments. The golden boy with cracks. And me, the artist who'd always fixed other stories, but never my own. By morning he was steel again, packing a bag for the drive south. Back in 3 days. Cover for me at work if they call. Got it. I hugged him quick, his cologne clinging. Angel. He hesitated. You're solid. Real. The door clicked shut, leaving echo. I spent the weekend sketching furiously. Panels of brothers in storms, hands reaching through rain. Marcus called, but I let it go to voicemail. My mind was on Jake, on the boy who'd mocked me now breaking open. When he returned, tanned from Oregon's sun but hollow-eyed, things shifted irrevocably. He brought me a carved wooden whale from a seaside shop, for your stories. And we cooked together, shoulders brushing. The mocks were ghosts now, replaced by depth. But under it, tension simmered. His touches lingered, my glances heated. One evening, post-dinner, we walked to Gas Works Park, the old gasification plant a skeletal guardian over the lake. Fireworks cracked distant. Some boat show, and in the burst's light he turned to me. That night with the tacos, I almost kissed me. The words tumbled out. His breath hitched. Yeah. And scared shitless. He laughed, bitter. What does that make me? Human. I stepped closer, the spark igniting. Our lips met, tentative then fierce, under the fading booms. Salt and whiskey and rain, his hands in my hair, mine on his waist. It was revelation, the world tilting. But as we broke apart, panting, his phone lit. Riley. Heard about Emily. Am here if you need. Guilt flashed in his eyes. I can't. Not yet. I get it. But as he walked away, the crack widened. Secrets have a way of surfacing, and mine, buried deep, was stirring. The kiss lingered like a bruise, sweet and tender, but blooming purple under skin. For days after Gas Works, Jake and I orbited each other in the apartment, the air humming with unspoken electricity. Head catch my eye across the breakfast bar, a half-smile tugging his lips before he looked away, busying himself with cereal. I'd find excuses to brush past him in the hall, my shoulder grazing his arm, sending sparks that neither acknowledged. It was delicious torture, this dance on the precipice, but beneath it ran a current of fear. What if he bolted? What if the straight world had clung to reclaimed him? Emily's diagnosis cast a long shadow. Head drive down to Eugene every weekend, returning quieter each time. His flannel sleeves rolled to hide the tremble in his hands. I'd wait up with tea, chamomile, no sugar, just how he liked, and we'd talk in low voices about her. The 12-year-old firecracker who'd once hot-wired his bike for a joyride, now tethered to chemo drips and hospital jello. She's fighting, head say, voice cracking. Like you. Me? Fighting. The words settled uneasy. My battles felt smaller, rejection's isolation, until I remembered the scars, faint now, on my ribs from that high school night. Still, listening to him, I felt seen, the artist in me sketching mental portraits of his grief. Jake by a bedside, holding tiny hands, the compass tattoo a promise of direction. Marcus faded gently. Our coffee dates dwindled to texts, supportive, platonic. Go for it, he wrote one night, after I confessed the kiss in a tipsy voice memo. But guard that heart, angel. Poets see the endings before they start. He was right. I saw fractures everywhere. In Jake's distant stares, the way head flinch when our fingers intertwined over dishes. One Thursday, after a brutal lab day, he came home slamming cabinets, face thunderous. Fucking professor, says my model's off by a decimal. Like the world's ending over it. I approached slow from the side. Breathe. It's not Emily. He deflated, sinking to the floor, back against the fridge. No, it's everything. Mom crying on the phone, Riley pushing to define us. And me, wanting this. His hand gestured between us. Raw. I slid down beside him, our knees touching. Then take it. One step. His head dropped to my shoulder. What if I fuck it up? Like Dad. Pushing away anything that didn't fit his box. You're not him. I tilted his chin, thumb tracing his jaw. You're Jake, the guy who carves whales and sings off-key. The one who'd mock me to hide how much he cares. A laugh bubbled, wet, guilty, then softer. That first night, I saw you in the doorway, hurt, felt like shit, but part of me envied it. Your fire. Kiss me again. It wasn't a question. He did, slower this time, exploratory. Tongues tentative, hands mapping shoulders, waists. We rose together, stumbling to the couch, bodies aligning in a tangle of limbs and sighs. His skin was warm under my palms, freckles like constellations across his chest. Whispers filled the space. Here, yes, angel. It was worship, unhurried. The rain outside a soft percussion. After, tangled in throw blankets, he traced my collarbone. This feels, right? Scary, right? Yeah. I kissed his temple, heart full. But good scary. We dozed, waking to hunger and HBO glow. Stir-fry leftovers, eaten naked on the floor, laughter bubbling over chopsticks. For the first time, the apartment felt like home. Not a stopover, but a haven. But paradise cracks. Friday brought Riley's ambush. I was at the studio tweaking Echo's panels, a storyline of forbidden touches mirroring our own, when Jake texted, "Riley's here. Stay out?" Stomach nodded, I replied, "Sure." Bar with Marcus. The evening dragged. Pints at the stranger, Marcus regaling with slam tales, but my mind wandered to them, her perfume invading our space, his polite deflections. By midnight, I buzzed home, key fumbling in the lock, voices from the living room, low, intimate. Miss this, Jake. Us. Riley's tone, coaxing. A pause, then him. I know, but things changed. With who? That roommate. Laughter, sharp. The gay artist? Come on, it's a phase. Rebellion. Silence, knife-edged. Then Jake, voice steel. It's not. And don't talk about Angel like that. The door creaked under my weight, they froze. Riley on the couch, legs tucked, wine glass mid-sip. Jake standing, arms crossed, protective. Angel. She smiled, brittle. Join us. Nah. Tired. I nodded curt, heading to my room. But Jake followed, closing the door soft. Hey. About earlier. Save it. I stripped my shirt, back to him. She's right. Phases end. No. His hands on my shoulders, turning me. She's wrong. This us, it's real. Then tell her. Challenge in my eyes. He exhaled, nodding. I will. Tomorrow. She left at dawn, tires squealing on wet pavement. Jake emerged rumpled, coffee in hand. Done. Told her we're through. For good. Relief flooded, but so did doubt. And the guys? Your world. Fuck 'em if they can't handle it. Defiant, but his eyes pleaded. Believe me. I did, pulling him close. That weekend we explored hikes in Discovery Park, trails muddy underfoot, hands clasped like lifelines. At the beach, waves crashing, he kissed me salty, whispering dreams. Grad school in Boulder, maybe with room for us. I shared mine, publishing echoes, touring festivals, him by my side sketching covers. Bliss but fragile. Midweek, Emily worsened, fever spiking, hospital readmit. Jake drove south frantic, me trailing in my Civic 2 hours later. The Eugene hospital was a sterile maze, beeps and bleach. His mom, Karen, frazzled blonde in scrubs, hugged me fierce. He's in with her. Go. Emily's room. Posters taped hasty, a stuffed orca from Jake on the bed rail. She was small, bald under a beanie, but eyes bright. You're the artist. Show me drawings. I did, pulling my tablet, quick sketches of whales dancing in storms. She giggled, weak but genuine. Jake watched from the chair, gratitude raw. Thanks, he mouthed. Nights in a motel nearby. Wed steel moments, bodies quiet in the thin bed, love-making hushed and desperate. Love you, he breathed once, post-climax. Words slipping unbidden. My heart stuttered. You too. Yeah. Sleepy smile. Scary, huh? Terrifying. Back in Seattle, normalcy beckoned, but betrayal brewed. At work, Lena waved me over. Your comics blog? Shadows in the Spectrum, that's you, right? Pen name Ember Fox? Ice in veins. How? Style. And a tip-off. She slid a printout. Anonymous email to the publisher, outing my niche distractions as reason for rejection. Words twisted my work into caricature. Frivolous queer fantasies. Jake's face flashed. No.
Impossible.
Confrontation waited till evening. He was cooking, pasta bubbling, humming off-key. Good day. Fine. I dropped the printout on the counter. This? He scanned, paling. What they?
Don.
Voice broke. Riley? Or one of your bros pissed your? Us?
Ángel. No.
ID never. Save it. I stormed out, rain lashing, pounding pavement to nowhere. Betrayal burned, mockery reborn as sabotage. Who was he, really? The lover in lamplight? Or the boy who'd always push away? Hours later, soaked at a bus stop, phone died. Walked home in dark, resolve hardening. The apartment light glowed accusatory. Jake paced the living room, face wrecked. Please, hear me out. Out. Door shut firm. It was Dylan, one of the lab guys. Overheard me on the phone with you, got drunk. Sent it. I confronted him today. Fists almost flew. Swear, angel. Proof? None. But his eyes, desperate, open, cracked my armor. Why believe you? Because I love you. Hands cupped my face, thumbs wiping rain. And I'm done hiding. The kiss was salt and fury. Forgiveness in every press. But trust? Fractured. As we fell into bed, bodies sinking, doubt whispered. How many more cracks before it shatters? Trust, once cracked, seeps doubt like rain through a leaky roof. Slow at first, then a deluge that soaks everything. The sabotage email hung between Jake and me like a specter. Dylan's drunken confession, a flimsy bandage over the wound. He swore fidelity, deleting contacts, even skipping the lab happy hours that had fueled his old bro code. No more shadows, he'd say, pulling me close in the quiet hours before dawn. His breath warm against my neck, but I felt the pull, the way his phone would buzz with unsaved numbers, or how he'd stare at old photos of Riley and the crew, a flicker of loss in his eyes. Seattle mirrored the turmoil. Skies that promised blue only to gray over, streets alive with Pride Month prep even in October. Banners strung early across Broadway, chalk art of hearts washing away in puddles. I threw myself into echoes, the graphic novel evolving into a beast. Chapters of lovers betrayed by whispers, redemption in rain-soaked confessions. Lena greenlit a launch party at the studio, small but mighty. 50 invites, craft cocktails, my panels blown up on walls. This'll put you on the map, kid, she said, clapping my back. Jake beamed when I told him, planning outfits like we were prom-bound. I'll wear that button-up you like, the blue one. Make you proud. You already do. The words came easy, but inside the email gnawed. Was it really Dylan? Or a test, Jake gauging how far I'd bend? Emily's treatments intensified, pulling him south more. I'd tag along when I could, sketching in the hospital lounge while he read to her. Harry Potter voices cracking with emotion. One visit. She cornered me by the vending machine, beanie askew, eyes too wise. You make him happy, Angel. Like before the sad. Before what? Dad. And the yelling. She munched Cheetos, orange dust on fingers. Now, with you? He smiles real. Her words mended a sliver, but crisis loomed. Returning north one stormy night, our cars hydroplaned on I-5. Jake's Ranger fishtailing, my Civic swerving to miss. We pulled over at a rest stop, adrenaline shaking, collapsing into each other's arms against the chain-link fence. Lost you, he gasped, kissing fierce. Can't. Won't happen. But in the rearview, headlights blurred like tears. Home brought escalation. Riley wouldn't fade. Shed corner him at a coffee shop near campus. Spotted by a mutual friend who texted me anonymous. She's pushing. Careful. I confronted gently over dinner. Pad thai from the cart on the corner, eaten on the fire escape overlooking the alley cats. She wants closure, he said, twirling noodles. Keeps saying we're soulmates, that this gesture to me is my quarter-life crisis. And you? Fork paused. He set his bowl down, serious. Told her you're my future. But she cries, guilt eats me. Guilt'll kill us. Cupped his hand. Boundaries, Jake. He nodded, but the next day betrayal struck true. I came home early from a client meet, posters for a queer youth center in Soto, to find them in the living room. Not kissing, but close. Her head on his shoulder, his arm around her, sobbing about Emily mirroring her own mom's cancer scare. Intimate, invasive. What the fuck? My bag hit the floor. Riley startled, wiping eyes. Angel, it's not. Out. Voice steel. She grabbed her coat, fleeing. Jake stood, pleading. She showed up. Needed to talk. Nothing happened. But it looks like everything. I paced, heart hammering. This is my home, Jake. Our space. You invite that in. Didn't invite. She has a key, old one. I forgot. Convenient. Sarcasm dripped. Angel, please. He reached, but I shrugged off. I love you. This us, is it? Then prove it. I grabbed my sketch pad, storming to the bedroom, door locking with finality. He knocked soft, then louder. Talk to me. Tomorrow. Exhaustion won. I curled under covers, tears silent. Morning brought roses, dozen red, from the market on Pike, and a note. Key deadbolt. Coffee at 6th Street? Fresh start. I met him guarded. The cafe bustled, baristas calling orders, steam hissing. Over lattes he slid the key across. Snapped in half. Done. No more ghosts. Forgiveness tempted, but I held back. One more chance. But if she or anyone comes between. Won't. Oath in his eyes. We rebuilt tentative. Date nights at the symphony. Seattle rep doing Sondheim, his hand squeezing mine during ballads, or lazy Sundays in bed, tracing tattoos and telling truths. He opened about Dad. The heart attack after a logging accident, leaving debts and a boy too young to grieve loud. Mom said bottle it. Be strong. I shared my blog, Shadows, the anonymous haven where posted since 18, stories of survival racking thousands of reads. Ember Fox, he murmured, kissing my forehead. My fox. Intimacy deepened. Slow mornings where wed-wake entwined, his fingers learning my curves like Braille. Beautiful, head whisper. Making me arch love bloomed physical, emotional, him surprising me with a custom sketchpad, leather-bound, my name embossed. But high tide brings undertow. Emily's crisis peaked. Infection post-chemo, ICU transfer. Jake vanished south, call sparse. Hang in their texts, voicemails hoarse. I held the fort, but loneliness crept. Marcus invited me to his slam. Support, no strings, and I went, the stage lights hot, words pouring like catharsis. Backstage, he hugged me. You're healing him. Don't lose you in it. Words prophetic. Jake returned shattered. Emily stabilized, but Doc's grim months, maybe. He drank heavy that night, whiskey neat, collapsing into me. What if I lose her? Like Dad. Won't alone. I held him through sobs, but dawn brought hangover regret. Him pulling away, mumbling about needing space. Space. Echo hurt. From us. Just. Time. He dressed quick, fleeing to lab. Days stretched cold. He slept on couch, conversations clipped. Riley texted him. I saw the notifications. Heard about him. Here for you. He didn't reply, but the seed planted. Climax crashed midweek. My launch party. Studio aglow. Guests milling. Queer icons. Artists. Lena toasting Angel's fire. Jake arrived late. Ty Askew, eyes bloodshot. Mingle turned mingle. Him cornered by Dylan, words heated. I watched from across, heart sinking as Riley slipped in. Uninvited, dress clinging, hand on his arm. They argued low, then her lips on his, brief, desperate. He pushed back, but damage done. I froze, glass slipping, wine staining carpet like blood. Guests hushed. Lena steered me away, but fury propelled. Outside, rain poured. What was that? Mistake. He followed, soaked. She crashed. Kissed me. I stopped. Too late. Voice broke. You're drowning, Jake. And I'm sinking with you. Angel, wait. No. I walked into night, cab to Marcus, crashing on his couch. Text flooded, please. I love you. But betrayal echoed, mockery evolved to this public wound. Morning brought resolve. I packed a bag, sublet offer from a friend in Ballard needing air. Jake waited at the door, wrecked.
Don't go.
Ill fix. Fix yourself first. Keys tossed. Call when you're whole. The door shut, a chapter slamming. Alone in the cab, tears fell. Love wasn't enough. It needed roots. But as Seattle blurred past, a whisper. Heal, then return? Ballard felt like an exhale. A neighborhood of shipyards and breweries, salt air sharp off the sound. Far enough from Capitol Hill to breathe but close enough to haunt. My sublet was a studio above a Scandinavian bakery, cinnamon and cardamom wafting up like therapy. Mornings, I'd wake to the clatter of trays below, sketchpad in lap, pouring pain into echoes. Final panels of lovers parting under storm clouds, hands slipping but fingers brushing. A promise of return. The story mirrored us, raw and unresolved, and subscribers to Shadow's flooded comments. This hurts so good. What's next? Jake called daily, voicemails gravelly, texts poetic in their desperation. Miss your laugh in the kitchen.
Enhas forweio dravings.
I listened but didn't reply, the wound too fresh. Riley's lips on his, the party hush like judgment. Marcus became anchor. Slam nights at Hugo House, where words weaponized hurt into art. He's a mess, Marcus said over IPAs one evening. Locks tied back, eyes kind. Saw him at the market buying your oat milk. Like a lost puppy. Puppy with fangs. Bitter sip. But fangs retract. Give him time, or yourself. Time I gave diving into work. Lena secured a publisher nibble for Echoes, contingent on revisions, a queer romance arc punched up. Nights, I'd walk the locks, watching salmon leap futile against currents, wondering if love was the same. Upstream fight or gentle drift. Emily's shadow lengthened. A week in, Jake texted a photo. Her holding my sketch, grin wide under oxygen mask. She's fighting because of you. Heart tugged, but pride held. Then crisis, his call at 2 a.m. voice breaking. Angel. Emis. She's asking for you. Doc say weeks. Please. The plea cracked me. I drove south at dawn. Wipers slashing rain. Radio silent. Eugene Hospital same sterile hell. But Emily's room warmer. Balloons from cousins, her orca-propped sentinel. She lit when I entered. Frail hand grabbing mine. Draw me a adventure? With whales and storms. Anything. I sat, tablet out, Jake hovering doorway, unspoken thanks in his stance. We created. A girl captain taming tempests, crew of sea beasts. Her laughs weak but pure, Jake joining, voice steadying. Post-story. She slept, monitors beeping lullaby. Hallway, his mom hugged me. He's lost without you. I know. Glanced at him, shadows under eyes. Cafe downstairs. Bad coffee, vinyl seats. Thanks for coming. He stirred sugar endless. Party's my fault. Riley. I told her off. Changed locks. But the guilt. It pulls. Guilt for what? Loving me? Challenge soft. For hurting you. For the mocks, the sabotage echo.
Impoison zometimes. No.
Hand over his first touch in weeks. Hurt, yeah. But human. Eyes met. Bridge forming. Stay tonight? Motel. Just talk. I did. Room same as before. Faded quilt. TV static. We sat cross-legged on bed. Knees touching. Unpacking baggage. He confessed the kiss. Her ambush. His freeze-frame shock. Immediate push. Felt nothing. Like kissing a sister. Laughter bubbled. Tension easing. My turn, the blog, deeper dives, posts about assault aftermath, therapy scars. Wrote to heal. And connect. You do. His fingers traced my palm. More than you know. Talk turned tide. Dreams deferred. Fears named. Want grad school, yeah, he said. But with you. Road trip after. Coast down to Cali. Sketch the redwoods. Deal. Smile genuine. Sleep came side by side. Clothes on, his arm draped heavy. Woke to his breath on my neck. Peace fragile. Back north. Reconciliation tentative. I returned to the apartment. Bag unpacked slow, his eyes hopeful. Dinners rebuilt. Him attempting tamales from my mom's recipe. Masa crumbling hilarious. Practice makes perfect. He grinned. Flour dusted. Intimacy rekindled gradual. Handholds on couch. Kisses deepening to explorations. One night, post-inception marathon, his hands under my shirt. Reverent. Missed this. Bodies joined. Slow and sure. Reaffirming. But conflict simmered external. Dylan, unrepentant, spread whispers on campus. Forums buzzing Harlan's gone rainbow. Jake's advisor pulled him aside. Focus, son. Distractions kill theses. He came home raging, punching the bag we'd hung in the spare closet. Old Jim find. Fuck them. Sweat slick, turning to me. You're not distraction. You're light. Embraced him, damp and fierce. Then let's shine. Launch for Echoes loomed, revised, accepted. Party redux. Smaller, intimate at a Belltown gallery. Walls alive with my art. Jake arrived sharp, blue shirt, no tie, arm around me proud. Guests mingled. Lena, Marcus, even Emily's nursehood followed online. Toasts flowed. To Angel, storyteller of hearts. Mid-swirl, Riley appeared. Gatecrasher again, dressed demure, eyes red. Congrats, she said, voice tight. Heard it's big. Jake stiffened beside me. Not now. But I need. She stepped closer, hand out. Security, Lena's call, escorted her gentle. But damage. Murmurs rippled, old mocks surfacing in glances. Post-party, walking home arm in arm, Jake exploded. She's obsessed. Sent letters to mom, saying I'm throwing life away. Block her. All of it. I did. Pause, vulnerable. But what if she's right? This us costs everything. Heart plummeted. Costs? Or gains? He stopped under street lamp. Rain starting. Gains you. But family, friends. Fracturing. Then fight. Pulled him close. Kissed defiant. Or let go. Choice hung. Home he paced, phone in hand, her final text. You'll regret. Tell him the truth about Emily. Truth? Alarm spiked. What truth? He deflated, sitting heavy. The fund. Last year, before we met, Emily's first round. I crowdfunded, but it fell short. Then, anonymous donation. 50 grand. Saved us. Realization dawned, cold. Me. You. Bewilderment. Shadows readers. I chipped in big from royalties. Pen name hid it. His face crumpled, shock, awe, guilt. Why didn't you say? Anonymous means quiet. And we weren't. Us then. Tears tracked. You saved her. And I mocked you. Betrayed. Forgiven. Hugged tight. But Riley's twisting it? She's jealous. Found out somehow. Threatens to expose. Say I used you. Rage boiled. Let her.
No.
Resolve hardened. Won't let her tarnish this. Crisis peaked next day, her email blast to his department, my publisher. Harlan leeching off activist's boyfriend. Lies laced. Me funding for clout, him playing by for gain. Fallout swift. Advisor emails Jake, meeting. Now, publisher to me. Clarify? World tilted, betrayal public. We faced it together. Press release joint, truth of donation. Love unashamed. Stand, I said, hand in his, or fall alone. He chose stand. But as storms gathered, I wondered, could love weather the gale? The scandal unfurled like a Pacific squall. Sudden, relentless, winds howling through inboxes and social feeds. Riley's email chain went viral in niche circles. Queer forums dissecting the exploitation angle, engineering subreddits snarking on Jake's distraction drama. My Shadows blog crashed under traffic, comments a battlefield. Supportive allies versus trolls wielding slurs like shivs. Leech, one snarled. More like love, countered another, hearts emoji shields. Jake and I hunkered in the apartment, blinds drawn against prying eyes. Neighbors in Capitol Hill prone to gossip over espresso. Phones silenced, we cooked survival food. Grilled cheese oozing, tomato soup steaming, eaten at the table like rations. "This'll pass," he said, voice steady but eyes stormy. "Like MS fevers. Peaks, then breaks." I nodded, but doubt gnawed. The publisher pulled back. PR nightmare, Angel. Revise the romance? Straighten it? Leanest words at the studio. Fight or fold? I fought, rewriting arcs fiercer. Lovers unapologetic, betrayal's fuel for fire. External battered. His advisor summoned, thesis on hold. Focus issue. Jake's response. Resignation letter drafted. Backup job hunt at a Seattle green tech startup. "Won't let them define me," he told me, crumpling the paper. But nights, head wake sweating, dreams of dad judging, weak. My own ghosts rose. Mom called from Kennewick, worried clip in her Spanish lilt. "Mijo, the news? That girl, venenosa. Poisonous." I confessed the all, Jake, the mocks, the love. "He sees you now," she soothed. "That's the win." Emily, from her bed, sent voice notes, giggle through nasal cannula. "Uncle Jake's grumpy without you drawing. Tell Riley go jump in the lake." Kids' wisdom, bomb. But crisis crested with confrontation. Riley texted coordinates. Alki Beach, sunset. "End this. Face me." Jake wanted to ghost, but I pushed. "Confront. Or she haunts forever." We drove west, ferry crossing choppy, sound mirroring turmoil. Beach golden. Families picnicking, dogs chasing frisbees, but tension thick as fog. She waited by driftwood, hair whipping, eyes defiant. "You came. Smirk, but brittle. Finish it." Jake crossed arms, me flank. "Finish? You threw us for him." Gesture to me venomous. "And the money, Emily's lifeline? Bought his loyalty." Lies. My voice cut. Donation was heart. Yours is spite. She laughed, hollow. "Heart? You parade rainbows while he hides." I love the real Jake. Straight, strong. Real. Jake stepped forward, voice thunder. Real is loving Angel despite the mocks I regret every day. Real is choosing him over your script. Tears welled, her mask cracking. "You'll leave him, like you left me." Silence stretched, waves crashing judgment. Then soft. "Maybe, but not today." She deflated, turning away. "Goodbye, then." We left her silhouette against surf, driving back ferry silent, hands clasped over console. "That closure?" I asked. "Yeah." Squeeze. "For her. And us." Healing began patchwork. Jake landed the startup gig, sustainable urban planning, ironic fit for Seattle's eco-heart. I relaunched Shadows with a manifesto post. Love isn't transaction. It's tether in storm. Reads surged, supporters donating to Emily's fund. Irony sweet. Intimacy rebuilt layered. Not just bodies, but souls. Evenings, wed walk Green Lake, dusk painting water pink, talking futures. After Emma's better, head say, road trip, Route 101, motels with neon signs. You sketch, I drive. Deal. And publishing's back. Full queer, no edits. Pride swelled, but undercurrent pulled. His touches hesitant some nights, guilt echoes. One evening, post-dinner, salmon from Pike Place, cedar planked, he confessed over wine. Therapy, starting next week. For the dad stuff, the hiding. Proud. Kiss soft. Mine too. Group for queer creatives, unpacking the sabotage scars. You're my why. I told him after first session. Bodies aligning in bed. Love-making grateful. Deep. Emily rallied, scans clearish, home for holidays. We visited Thanksgiving. Turkey chaotic. Karen toasting. Family expands. M gifted us matching whale charms. For adventures. But climax whispered in quiet. Winter deepened. Solstice lights twinkling Broadway. Jake's birthday. I planned surprise. Rooftop dinner. City sprawl below. Stars punching clouds. Candles flickered, steak medium rare, wine poured. To 27, I toasted. And us, I shone. Then, from pocket, small box. Not ring, too soon, but a keychain compass. Engraved, true north, angel. Tears pricked. Jake, promise, no more lost. Love sealed under stars, slow and sacred. But dawn brought test. His mom called Emily relapse scare. False alarm but panic real. He spiraled, canceling therapy for drive south. Need to be there. Go. But alone. Fear gripped. Was this the pull, duty over desire? He returned frayed but committed, session rescheduled. Us prioritized. Can't lose you to this. Winter thawed to spring. Echoes printed. Launch at Elliott Bay Books. Lines snaking. Jake front row cheering loudest. Post-reading, signing frenzy. He whispered, your words, they heal. After party at our place. Friends toasting, music low. Marcus pulled me aside. He's changed. You both have. Yeah. Watched Jake laugh with Lena, arm casual mine. But human means flaw. One night, old Mock slipped. Teasing my fancy salad dressing over dinner. Laughter mine, but sting faint. Old habits, he winced. Forgiven, but lesson, growth curves, not lines. Healing journey peaked Memorial Day. Road trip south as promised. Highway hummed, windows down, his hand on thigh. Stops. Cannon Beach haystacks at dawn, him sketching clumsy beside me. Portland food carts, rain dancing. Redwoods in Cali, giants dwarfing doubts. In amongst trees, fireplace crackle, bodies woven. This, he murmured, fingers in hair. Forever. Starting now. Return brought maturity. Boundaries set. Riley blocked universes. Friends vetted. Emila steady, fund thriving. My novel toured SF NYC whispers. Jake's project greenlit. Urban gardens for food deserts. Summer solstice. Full circle. Gas works park. Same bench. Fireworks boomed. His head on shoulder. From Mox to this.
Moked till trut.
Kiss under bursts. But story arcs bend. Fall hinted shadow. Job offer for him. Boulder firm. Dream but distant. 6 months? Trial. Heart clenched. Us. Long distance? Or come? Choice loomed, but love whispered. Together always. Crisis emotional. Nights debating, tears and talks. Don't want to lose you, he said, voice small. Won't. Resolve. We follow heart. Yours leads there, mine follows. But as leaves turned, deeper truth surfaced. My secret full bloom. Shadows outed, Ember Fox revealed, media buzz. Interviews, panels. Jake beamed. My fox. Yet, in quiet he admitted fear. Big leagues now. Keep up. Side by side. Healing then not end but evolution, love as verb active, enduring. Autumn in Seattle carried a poignant hush. Leaves carpeting sidewalks in gold and crimson. The air crisp with promise and parting. Boulders offer crystallized everything we'd built. Jake's career leap, a chance to pioneer climate-resilient designs in the Rockies. The kind of work that could etch his name in green annals. We waited over endless cups of black coffee at our kitchen table. Maps spread like veins of possibility. Interstate 90 snaking east, a ribbon connecting us or cleaving apart. 6 months? Head reiterate. Thumb tracing my knuckles. Then reassess. You tour echoes, I build models. Weekends. Flights. It sounded logical. A bridge of video calls and stolen layovers, but emotion rebelled. Nights would make love with desperate edges. His body over mine, urgent and anchoring, whispers of stay, unspoken but felt in every gasp. This isn't goodbye. Head murmur post-climax. Forehead to mine, sweat slick and sincere. But doubt lingered, a quiet undercurrent. Had the mocks evolved into distance, betrayal into absence? Emily sensed the rift during our last Eugene visit. Her room festooned with my whale prints, chemo behind her now. A warrior in remission, beanie traded for a pixie cut sprouting defiant. You leaving Uncle Jake? She asked point blank, coloring book open to a storm scene ID inspired. Kid, it's temporary. I ruffled her hair, but her eyes, Jake's blue sharp, pinned me. Promises break, like waves. Wisdom from books and bedsides. Jake, overhearing, pulled me aside in the hall. She's right. Waves crash, but we swim. Stronger together. Kiss quick, hospital sterile. Packing became ritual. His duffels by the door, my sketches tucked in corners. A visual tether. Mom flew up for farewell brunch at Matt's in the market. Dungeness crab Benedict steaming, her eyes misty over mimosas.
Amor viaja, mijo.
But roots hold. She gifted us St. Medals. San Cristobal for safe journeys. Slipping Jake's into his palm with a mother's knowing. Launch tour for Echoes coincided fatefully. My first stop, Denver, just hours from Boulder. He drove me to the airport, Ranger idling curbside, rain misting the windshield. Call when you land. His kiss tasted of salt. Tears? Or just the sound? Every night. Hand to his cheek, stubble rough. Love you. Love you more. Engine roar swallowed him as I wheeled inside. Tour whirlwind. SF readings packed. Panels on queer narratives electric. LA sun blinding. Agents buzzing sequels. But Boulder anchored, hotel near campus, him waiting post-reading. Flowers wilted from commute. Killed it, head say, pulling me into hugs that lingered. Dinners at farm-to-tables, talks deep. His lab mates welcoming, my book club virtual cheers. Yet cracks spidered. Time zones nod, his 8 a.m. my 5 a.m. Calls clipped by exhaustion. One night, post-event in Portland, I rang voicemail. Text later, lab overrun. Miss you. Heart twinged, Riley echoes old fears. Crisis brewed mid-tour. Chicago, windy city gales mirroring inner gale. Reading candid turned personal. Fan asking, your story, the betrayal arc real? Words tumbled. Jake's mocks, the email, the kiss. Crowd hushed, then applause thunderous. Backstage, agent beamed, vulnerable cells. But hotel room alone, tears came, exposure raw, love questioned. Called him voice thick. Heard the clip. Proud, he said, but static, distance literal, emotional. Coming back soon? Plea. Project crunch. 2 weeks late. Deflated. I hung up, staring at ceiling cracks. Marcus texted from Seattle. Tour glow fading? Fly home. Tempted, but commitment held. Reunion in Boulder. Him at arrivals. Sign scrawled Fox returns. Laughter dissolved tension. Drive to his sublet. Cozy Ephraim in foothills, views endless. Dinner. Elk chili bubbling, his hands relearning mine over bowls. Missed this. He breathed. Leading to bed, reconnection fierce. Bodies remembering rhythms. But morning brought truth. His eyes shadowed, confession over coffee. Therapy homework. Unpack the straight guilt. Turns out, the mocks, projection. Feared my own. Fluidity. Fluid. Heart stuttered. Yeah, always knew deep. You unlocked it. Vulnerability raw. Scared I'll lose myself. Won't. Hugs tight. You're Jake. Compass true. Healing deep in there. Hikes and flatirons. Granite underfoot. Talks unfiltered. He joined a local LGBTQ group, engineers out, stories shared. A guest sketch for their zine, Whales Navigating Peaks. Tour wrapped triumphant. Echoes bestseller indie lists. Shadows podcast invites. Home to Seattle interim. Apartment sublet waiting. But Boulder pulled. Decision crystallized over solstice call with Emily. Come. We build forts in snow. We chose hybrid. Me splitting time, remote illustration booming. U-Haul East apartment farewell party. Lena toasting, Marcus winking. Jake drove lead, my Civic trailing, mountains rising welcome. Boulder settled. Shared a frame. His models on tables, my easel by window. Winter's first snow blanketed. Us shoveling paths. Laughter steaming. Emilis visits spring. Remission party, her energy boundless. Us aunts uncles now. But humanity means shadow. One night, post-argument, petty, about dishes, he snapped, always the feeler, huh?
Puch till I break.
Echo of old mocks, faint but sharp. Froze. That you?
Regret instant.
Shit. Therapy slip. Apology on knees, tears. Old armor. Stripping slow. Forgive. But lesson. Growth eternal. Summer brought peak. Jake's project unveiled. Urban farm prototype. Ribbon cut with mayor. Me beside. Echoes 2 drafting. Road trip anniversary. Back west. Route 101 reverse. Motels neon lit. Love reaffirmed nightly. Fall circled. Emilus 1 year clear. Family picnic in Eugene. Whales carved on cake. Jake proposed not ring but vow. Where you go, I follow. Mocks to forever. Tears yes. No knee, no diamond, just us under oaks, hands clasped. Years blurred montage. My novels trilogy, his firm expanding. Emilus teen antics, our travels. Europe sketches, Asian eats. Seattle visits. Capitol Hill evolved. Us guides for new loves. Reflection in mirrors. Angel, once hidden. Now bold. Olive skin sun-kissed. Eyes steady. Jake beside. Blonde streaked gray early, but smile unwavering. Value human. Love not absence of storm, but dance within. We mocked, betrayed, healed. Emerging not unbroken, but beautifully scarred. In America's vast tapestry, mountains to coasts, 2 men wove thread. Resilient, romantic, real. And in quiet moments, his hand in mine, ID whisper. Who we really are? Together.